So much, Heather and Brittany. Thousands of dock workers are back on the job after striking union members reached a tentative deal.
Yeah, both sides have agreed to suspend the strike, meaning the fight is not over yet. Eyewitness News reporter Reagan Benji joins us live at Port Newark Elizabeth with more. Reagan, again, it's not over, but does give them more time to continue negotiations.
Yeah, it's a tentative agreement up until January 15th, but yes, what this means for the dock workers is higher pay. What it means for you and me, it means that when we order something online from overseas, it will be delivered in time, not only for this week, next week, but also for the holiday season. And it was a celebratory mood yesterday here at the dock as those dock workers, thousands of them, are back on the job. The International Longshoremen's Association, representing 45,000 workers at East and Gulf Coast ports, reaching a deal to suspend the work stoppage. The tentative agreement with the U.S. Maritime Alliance, which represents the ports and shipping companies, will pause the strike. That is until January 15th. But the past 3 days, very uncertain as ports from Maine all the way down to Texas shut down. Now, if the strike continued, the disruption could have potentially crippled the U.S. economy, costing it $4 billion a day, leading to supply shortages on higher retail prices ahead of the holiday shopping season. Now take a look at this. The tentative agreement between the International Longshoremen's Association and the U.S. Maritime Alliance would increase workers' wages by 62% over the life of the 6-year contract. This according to sources familiar with ABC News. The tentative agreement would bring the hourly wage for a top dock worker to $63 an hour at the end of the new contract. That is up from $39 per hour under the expired one.
Part of that was no automation, and from what I understand is that that's a done thing for us. So we're happy about that. That secures our jobs. That's what's most important to us, was the job security. We could provide for our families and keep moving forward.
And the Maritime Alliance increased their offer amid pressure from the Biden administration. And for a more in-depth, or should I say an overlook of the situation, we go to Newscopter 7's John Del Giorno. John?
Hey, good morning, Reagan. The biggest difference that we're seeing this morning over Port Elizabeth is the fact that the lights are on, and that's a good sign. We're not seeing a lot of activity, and the main reason, which you'll see here off on the left, is that there are no ships at the port yet. There were no ships anchored here when the strike began in the beginning of the week. The ships that were destined to come into New York Harbor were anchored out in the Atlantic Ocean off of the Rockaways. Those ships will start to make their way in. It can take up to 3 hours for a container ship to make its way from the Verrazano Bridge here to Port Elizabeth, so we don't expect to see ships here dockside anytime soon. But you can see the lights are on, the entrance lanes, they're being prepared. I want to keep an eye on that later on this morning as well. Keep an eye on the traffic around Newark Liberty International Airport, and especially the New Jersey Turnpike, exit 13A and exit 14. Those are the primary entrances to get into Port Newark and Port Elizabeth. You may see a lot of truck traffic as these truckers and the longshoremen begin to clear the backlog of any goods that are here in Port Elizabeth. And we're live over the port. John Del Giorno, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you for that, John. Now to the upcoming departure